And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hi, here we are at part 2 of Hawaii, although the first part probably didn't tell you very much about the game. Hawaii, not today. Gotta hang on to it today, sorry. Hawaii is a Euro game, and it's about, well, Hawaii. And what each player is doing in Hawaii is they are building their... No, please. What each player is doing in Hawaii is they are building up their villages. It's your typical Euro game. But I guess I'll just start out right now saying I really disliked it. You kids are crazy. No! Later we'll get it. Now get out. Okay, I really need to tell you why I'm not a big fan of this game. But I need to start out by saying I don't want to be going over the top. Okay, that's a lie. I do like going over the top. But I really can't stand this game. I don't like it at all. But I do not think the game is a poorly designed game. I think it's well designed. I think that there's going to be a lot of people out there who do like it. In fact, I'm surprised that there's as few people out there who seem to dislike it as much as I do. However, this game is what we essentially would say, in this game, this is all the fun that has been included, in my opinion. Yes, there's a lot of good mechanics. Yes, there's some maybe good scoring and diversity in how you do things. But when it comes down to it, the game is simply devoid of any kind of feeling or interest. The theme is absolutely non-existent, and it feels like I'm doing a big spreadsheet. Let me show you why.
So here's the board, and I have to say, to be perfectly fair to this game, this is a very beautiful looking game. It looks very nice. You have tons of pieces. It has some really nice wooden pieces here. Although, I will say that you're using these pieces a lot, and so there's denominations of 5s and 1s, and you'll find that you're running, constantly making change. Not a big deal. But you have 3 currencies in this game. You have feet, you have seashells or clams, and then you have fruit. Fruit is a wild resource that can be used instead of seashells or clams, but only instead. You can't, for example, if you're using feet, can't combine some feet and some fruit. Anyhow, here you have your board, and the board is set up like this, and at the beginning of the game, you're going to put these in randomly in your board. So each time you play the game, the board is randomly set up. And this is really the only random feature of the game. And that's all well and good. But then you have to take all these pieces here, all these tiles, and you need to stack them up on the correct spots on the board. Which you might think, oh, that's not a big deal. That's a huge deal. It's a pain in the neck. But okay. And I'm not even doing it now because it takes such a pain in the neck to do. But then the thing that really annoys me about setup, and you might disagree with me on this, but this is wonky and doesn't have any thematic sense at all. But the beginning of each round, from a bag, you're going to draw these numbers. And you're going to place each of these numbers on one of the blank spots here on the board. But after you place them, you will then draw a third one. So, for example, here, I put a 6, a 3, then I draw a 2. 6 plus 3, 9 plus 2 is 11. That's less than 12, so I'm going to place one here. I then draw a 4, and I place that one here. I then draw a 3. 3 plus 4 is less than 9, so I put that one there. If the number that I would draw, let's for example, I drew a 6 to put on the 5. If it's greater, I will then flip this tile over and put it over here where it becomes fish. Alright. But you have to do that every time, and you might disagree again. I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with tons of my review. But that just didn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any thematic sense. What these are is these are setting up the variable prices of the different spots on the island. And it's just such a wonky, weird way to do it. And you have to do it every single round. Now, the goal of this game is to build your village. Hurrah! Okay? Your village that nobody else will have any connection with, and that nobody else can stop you really from going to and building. And what you're doing, if you see your village here, you have a building here. Well, actually, this is a set of 5 villages. Each of your rows is a village. And when you get buildings, you add them to your village. So you'll be putting them there. The only restriction really is that you can't put the same building in each row. So a village, for example, would not want to have 2 of the same kind of building. So for example, this building is the same as this one. I wouldn't want to put those there, but I can put it up here in this village. Now the goal of this game, let's focus a little bit more on the village. The goal of this game is to get points. Most of the buildings that you're going to be buying over the course of the game will give you points. There's a few buildings that give you benefits during the game itself, but most of them give you points. However, they will not score points unless they reach this tiki over here. Now, what you can do, one of the things you can build is you can build tikis that will come across the top here, which will make your rows shorter. So right now, for example, this row is going to score because it's reaching to this tiki. These 2 rows are not going to score. So I can do that by extending each of the rows or by bringing the tikis over farther. On the side here, you have spots for kahunas, and these don't really do much of anything other than score points, but they don't score points unless the row again reaches the tikis. So this game, and I know that this is where one of my big problems with the game came in the place, was that this looks interesting. And you're like, oh wow, you're building different things, but what is bringing the tikis over? What is putting the kahunas down? None of this means anything other than scoring points. There's really not even any justification for the points. Why does this give me 5 points? It just does. And it feels like you're filling in a spreadsheet. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to be the most efficient person. Is it better to build a long row that will reach the tiki here, or is it better to build more tikis over, then you can build a whole bunch of short rows? Should you fill in these kahunas over here? If you do, you're going to get 1 shell back here, and it costs shells. And it just felt like a spreadsheet. Now, how do you get these buildings? Well, you do so by going to the island. And you're going to have this gentleman here who's going to be moving around the island. To move around the island, you pay feet. Okay? That makes thematic sense, I suppose, because whenever I want to go somewhere, I pay feet. And you move off the beach and move around, and when you get to a spot where you want to buy one of the buildings, you will pay the price, take the lowest price there, pay the price for that building, take one of those buildings and put it in your thing. Or, like for example here, if I want this building, I could pay double the price and take side 2 of the building. Because side 2 of the building gives you 2 shells each turn, rather than side 1, which gives you 1. And this is something I think that's interesting, is that this building, for example, gives you an extra shell every turn. The fruit buildings right next door here give you an extra fruit each turn. And I like that, but most of the buildings are simply there for final scoring. They'll give you 5 points at the end of the game. They'll give you a point for this at the end of the game. And there's very few buildings that really have anything to do with the actual gameplay itself. At the end of each turn, you will be looking at these tiles here, and it shows you how many shells and how many feet everyone gets next turn, plus whatever you get from your village. And this is a diminishing thing, so you get fewer and fewer as the game goes by, because getting less and less as games go by is so much fun. And then there's a number here of happiness that you must meet, and all these prices that you paid over the course of the game combine to be happiness, plus you can always send your chief over here to get fish, and that will add to your happiness score, which, again, doesn't make any thematic sense at all, and it's just a numerical game of trying to get these numbers so that you're happy. And why do you want to be happy? Because whoever is the happiest will score a certain amount of points. The happiest guy here, for example, will score 8 points. The second happiest scores 5 points. And if you meet this happiness level, you score 2 points. You can also send your chief and pay extra fee and tap boats, which basically allow you to spend a certain amount of feet. So you can go to these islands, which give you a free tile and points for visiting that island. Now, I know that this is pretty much it, okay? This is pretty much the whole game. I will say that everybody has a very nice shield that they can build. Let's see. Here we go. Everyone has a shield. So, for example, here's the yellow player's shield. And you can put this in front of you to keep track of your feet and your shells because everyone is so very interested in what you have. One of the most useless shields I've seen in a game. But I guess if there's interaction, it's you're moving around the island trying to buy something maybe before someone else does. But at the same time, you're so caught up with it. You're trying to figure out, okay, I need to get back here to buy this and pay this exorbitant price to get this building that might give me points. And the game really comes down to a whole bunch of calculations. Now, I'm a math teacher. I like math. But this one just didn't make any sense to me at all. As you got these numbers, I should say it didn't make any sense, but it didn't have any soul. I'm getting these buildings. Why did I just build this building with the blue god that gives me points at the end of the game? And this long building here, which gives me no points at all, and it's simply there to reach the tiki. Or if I double it, I can get 5 points. And each round just felt like this drudgery, like walking around the island, getting these buildings, adding them to my village, putting them in my village, but I never felt like I was building a village, ever, not once. I just felt like I was, again, plugging numbers into a spreadsheet. And so I might have been hyperbolic yesterday by tossing the game into the garbage in part 1. But in essence, that's what we felt like when we played this game. It just was a struggle, a drudgery to get through. And the person who wins the game is the person who best manages to fill their spreadsheet in. It's beautiful, don't get me wrong. And there's really nice pieces to it. But if you notice, most of these buildings and all don't have any people in them because this is a ghost town. It's soulless. There's nothing there. You're just building up an empty structure. Well, that's about it.
So that's Hawaii. You can see the different things about the game. And like I said, I think there's going to be people who are fans of this game, but I'm just not one of them. I don't like this game because I felt like I was doing nothing. I was moving around and dropping pieces, putting things into a spreadsheet, and I get away. And it just isn't my style at all. It's not something that I'm going to want to play. And what the... This is a dangerous house. Okay, so, again, in closing, there's a lot of things in the box, and I can see a lot of people enjoying the idea of saying, oh, how can I make my villages? I need to make them go this far, get the points here. But to me, that's just a bunch of calculations. That's not something I'm looking for. I don't mind games that are just mechanics when they're short and fun and fast. I mean, you can make arguments for a lot of the games that I have on the shelves here behind me and say, well, those are mostly mechanics. And some of them are, but they're so much fun, I don't care. This one, it seems like it's more work, and it's like a struggle to get through. Not to mention one of the most annoying setups in the world. So, you may like the game. I'm not convinced it's that good of a game. Like I said, I could see people liking it, but it's not for me. In my opinion, it's a game fit for the animals. So, that's that. I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.